When we talk about dream matches that never happened in wrestling, The Undertaker vs Sting pops up from time to time. On one side you have the embodiment of WWE, and on the other you have the embodiment of WCW. Both were icons during the 90s, but since they stayed loyal to their respective companies, a clash between the two never happened. Now, before anybody writes in the comments down below, we are aware the two have already faced each other in a one-on-one bout in an untelevised match. The match occurred in WCW in 1990 at a WCW house show at the Greensboro Coliseum. Though Sting was at the top of his game as NWA World Heavyweight Champion, Mark Calloway wasn't the Undertaker at this point in time. He was a lesser known wrestler wrestling under the name Mean Mark Callis. But even though he was in the main event that night, he was a last-minute replacement for Barry Windham, who was originally booked to be in the match. Whilst many fans believe the only opportunity the match could have happened was in Sting's later years, it could have happened on numerous occasions. The first chance for the dream match almost happened after WWE bought out WCW in 2001 and both wrestlers were still just about in their prime. At the time, there could have been a chance the Stinger could have entered the WWE, setting up the dream match fans have awaited for years. After rejecting a buyout offer from WWE in 2001, Sting waited for his AOL Time Warner contract to expire in March of 2002. After the contract expired, Sting entered into negotiations with WWE, and even though talks had commenced with Vince McMahon about debuting, he still had reservations about it. He explained why in his Into the Light documentary. "I talked with Vince McMahon and he was really good to me. But I just got this feeling that he didn't, I'll put it in this way, all the guys from WCW that went to WWE when the acquisition happened, by then to me, there wasn't a real WCW. Because WCW was for so many years. It was Hall and Nash, it was Hogan, it was Sting, it was Luger, it was the Steiner brothers. It was, a certain package of guys that were gone." Sting recalled how the WCW guys also didn't fare better in WWE, commenting on The Rock's clash with Booker T. They come back to back, and they turn around and they look at each other, and The Rock looks at Booker T and he said, "Who are you?" And that one little comment was all it took to just bury somebody. In my opinion, bury somebody like Booker T, and let's let the world know that you're a WCW guy, and you're a peon here. It was gonna require lots of work for Booker T to try and come back, and he did because he's a talented guy. And after all the years I'd put into wrestling at that point, it just seemed like a gamble to me. Ultimately, Sting would pass on the opportunity, and instead sign with TNA in 2003. TNA would be his mainstay until 2014. But he could have potentially signed with WWE in 2011, leading to another opportunity to meet the dead man. Sting revealed in an interview with the Daily Star that World Wrestling Entertainment officials approached and offered him a match with The Undertaker at WrestleMania 27, as well as induction into the WWE Hall of Fame. He mentioned, "I wouldn't say it was utter nonsense. That's not true," laughed Sting. "It's a dream match that fans would want to see. It was close. I'm glad things turned out the way they did. There are so many variables. Let's just say that I turned it down for the same reasons I always have. Something in me never trusted what would happen up there, based entirely on the track record with other WCW guys and everything that went on after Vince bought WCW." After Sting appeared in a WWE Network special, sharing a story of his former tag team partner The Ultimate Warrior, who had just passed away, being included in WWE 2K15 as a playable pre-order bonus, and WWE releasing a Sting action figure, the rumour mill ran wild with speculation that Sting had finally signed a WWE contract to wrestle there. Whilst it still took a few more months, Sting would make his first ever official appearance in a WWE ring during the main event of 2014's Survivor Series, attacking Triple H with a Scorpion Death Drop, costing the Authority the match. With Sting now in WWE as an active wrestler, the chances of the dream match happening was now almost certain, with the grandest stage of them all, WrestleMania 31, rumoured to be the chosen event to house this legendary bout. As we all know, this never happened, with WWE opting instead to have Sting face Triple H, which led to a still awesome face-off between the NWO and D-Generation X, and The Undertaker instead facing the Eater of the Worlds Bray Wyatt. But what was the reason for the change? Well, Dave Meltzer of the Wrestling Observer newsletter tweeted a short response on why it didn't happen, simply saying, Vince McMahon. Meltzer believes that McMahon had a change of heart when it came to having the match, and reportedly wasn't interested in it. It's clear the two were undoubtedly not in their prime, and it's possible Vince was worried that the two would have an awful match together. But it's still silly to think, since both were eager to get into the ring together, as Sting commented in an interview. I always wanted to wrestle Undertaker. That was a worldwide dream match, I think, and it was my dream match too. Of course, if I had a chance, I'd do it. But look at Taker's career. Did he miss out on anything? Look at my career. I don't think I really missed out on anything either. I regret not being able to get into the ring with him one time. It would have been great, but I'm okay with the way it turned out. We've had a brief conversation, and I just told him, I said, man, I just always wanted to have that match. It wasn't necessarily reciprocated, so I'm not sure where he stands, or if he had any interest at all, to be quite honest. But I did. I don't mind saying. Unfortunately, after suffering a neck injury in a match against Seth Rollins at WWE's Night of Champions pay-per-view in September 2015, and as a result being diagnosed with spinal stenosis, the same injury that retired Edge prematurely, Sting took time off away from the ring, leaving their dream match dwindling in doubt. Even with his serious injury though, rumours had still surfaced in 2016 of The Undertaker's opponent being Sting at WrestleMania 32, after Dave Meltzer mentioned, WWE officials have finalised the WrestleMania 32 main events, and they have decided on who The Undertaker will face, but we don't know who that person is. It was said that Taker's opponent is not someone on the roster right now. Just before WrestleMania 32, however, Sting was inducted into 2016's WWE Hall of Fame and announced at the ceremony he would call it quits, retiring from wrestling permanently at the age of 56. His announced retirement was the final nail in the coffin for any opportunity he and The Undertaker will ever meet in the ring. Sting mentioned during a Q&A at the Wales Comic Con event in Wrexham that he doesn't plan to have the surgery to repair the injury. The only reason I held off the surgery is because I had guys like Stone Cold saying don't do it. I don't have any side effects. I can still work out and it doesn't bother me. I don't get a sore neck from sleeping or anything, so why would I get surgery? If you don't need it, don't do it. It's clear if the Stinger ever wanted to get back in a WWE ring for one final match, without having the surgery performed on his neck, it's likely WWE will not clear him to wrestle. For now, the only way to have this dream match is in a virtual world. What are your thoughts on this match never happening? Do you think it was 15 years too late anyway? Let us know in the comments down below, subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you next time with some more wrestling content.